Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign, but remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. That's just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, before we get into that, quick note, I just want to say if you want to get your personal reading with me, you can do so on the link in the description box below. And if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. Your key to the week this week is the Emperor. Right, so when we find the Emperor, yes, you know, it can represent so many different things, but in all of these different areas of your life, you are being invited this week to pull rank or to take the top spot. You have to step into the lead, right? This is where you effectively become the boss or the leader. Now, that being said, a boss, a leader, a father, or a significant other could also be instrumental in how you navigate these different areas of life this week. The other thing with the Emperor, sometimes it's the hard line in the sand, right? And sometimes you need to be that hard line in the sand. So it's going to be very telling as to see what, when we see what the cards are that come up. For your actions and options, you have the Knight of Wands. For those of you that are parents, specifically those of you that have Aries teenage, I'm going to say teenage boys because it feels like that to me. For those of you that have an Aries teenager, this week, you might need to either curb or give them a track for whatever it is that they're working on. There's a lot of energy in that combination, and sometimes it can show up where we need to be the firm hand on the tiller to say, look, great energy, do this with it, right? It's like providing a track for a racehorse. There's something here where you're needing to kind of keep somebody on the straight and narrow, as it were. Now, on a more personal level, that Knight of Wands is a card of action. And with the Emperor, this is where you have to be not only the hard line in the sand, but you've got to take command this week, Gemini, in a really dynamic way. The options that are available to you, this may very well center around travel, but it's just as easily, because the Emperor card, believe it or not, yes, with all of its other connotations, it's actually quite a pioneering energy. And with the Knight of Wands, this is breaking new ground in some way. Maybe embarking on, a journey of some sort that maybe you haven't before. This could be a journey of self-discovery. It could be a journey of self-leadership. It could also be within a different sector. So the Emperor tends to show up as like the legal sector. It can be corporate, but it usually shows up more as like the legal or even like the sports arena. So it looks like you're getting your adventure on this week, my dear Gemmies. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Ten of Swords, right? So the Ten of Swords can sometimes be an argument or a bust up. You've got this Emperor card here. You've got this Knight of Wands. I've already said this week you have to be the hard line in the sand. So one of the ways that this potentially shows up, if you see an argument brewing, if you can feel something kind of get into a fever pitch, it's for you this week to step in and shut that shit down immediately, right? That way you don't get yourself into any challenges or issues. You don't have to worry about, where it goes from here. If you shut it down, if you pull rank and you shut it down now, you will avoid this Ten of Swords. But what I will say to you is, whatever it is that you're shutting down, you need to make every party that's involved in this, you need to be 100% clear that this is where this stops. I'm not opening this up for discussion again. It is the Ten of Swords. Now, that being said, is the Ten of Swords, you've got the Knight of Wands, you've got the Emperor. This could be not just a hard conversation that needs to be had, but a harsh conversation. This could be some really challenging words, I'm sorry to say. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, the Ten of Swords with the Knight of Wands, this could be if you had plans to take a gap year or to do some kind of travel, that could be put on hold now. But it could just as easily be that some of you, this might be the dropout connection where you say, you know what, I'm done with this study stuff. It's just not for me anymore. For those of you that are cross-watching for Gemini children and or teenagers who might be in academia, they are done, all right? And whatever the case might be, or if you've got an Aries teenager, they might also be done with this. There comes a point where even as a parent, no, I'm not a parent, but I am a human being and I do have parents. There comes a point where as a person, as a parent, you have to kind of step back and let your kids, providing they're not too young, obviously, but even then, you have to give them enough responsibility to choose what's going on in their own lives so that they can understand that with your choices come consequences and ripples. And also sometimes the choices that they make for themselves will be better than any of the choices that you can make for them. So find a way to honor that. Now, for those of you that are employed by somebody else, that Ten of Swords, this could be, quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you have a boss announce that they're leaving, that they're walking out. For some of you, you could have a boss or a supervisor or a person in a position of authority could be fired this week. That's also very possible. And if it's somebody that you are happy to see the back of, all the more reason to celebrate, right? For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, there is an avenue or a path of some sort that's shut down this week. I do feel like it's consciously led, but I also feel like it's mutually beneficial for you to say, actually, this connection, this collaboration, this, is just not for me. And a part of this is, it's actually freeing you up to work in a different sector or with different people via your business. When it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working, this Ten of Swords, maybe the argument that's happening isn't necessarily about you or even with you, but you might be called in as a grandparent or an uncle or an aunt, etc., to assist in a hard conversation that needs to be had between child and parent, or maybe even child and child and institution, because the Emperor tends to represent schools, etc. So there's a lot of stuff going on with education this week for you guys in some regard. For your love and relations, you have the Page of Cups. Okay, so this is lovely for there's definitely a love vibe in the air, right? I'm recording these on Valentine's Day, so it makes a lot of sense. And obviously, it's a strong energy that's kind of out in the ether. Now, before we get into that, this month's clearing cohort, interestingly enough, is all about love. So if you want to delve into your love life, why you are single, how you are single, what that looks like for you, and all of that good stuff. Maybe you've got a relationship that you're in and you want to smooth things over. Maybe you just want to keep things ticking over. Either which way, this month's clearing cohort is all about love, partnership, and relationships. So, with that being said, you can get that on the link in the description box below. And don't forget to check out the clearing cohort intro video for this month's cohort. All right, with that said, your Page of Cups. If you are single and looking, you are showing up as a firecracker this week. And that Page of Cups is kind of like, yes, I'm ready, right? At an emotional level, you're really feeling like, yes, I'm ready. But the energy that you're putting out, it's giving firecracker, okay? So just know that how people see you might not necessarily be the way that you want to be received. And so you just need to be 100% clear that, you know what, like, this is just a part of me, or a part of how I sort of express myself, let's say. When it comes to those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, the Page of Cups, because you've got it next to this Ten of Swords and it's opposite the Emperor, this does suggest a heart-to-heart of some sort, but it's not going to be an easy one. All right, so this is kind of like the soothing balm, if you like, but in order to get to that space, you're going to have to go through a few broken eggs, as they say. For your money and materials, you've got the King of Swords. So the King of Swords with the Emperor tends to show up as somebody that is very well respected, very well learned, very intelligent, but also somebody who, when they speak, everybody listens. I think this is your boss, and I feel like a lot of you are going to have a boss or a superior or maybe even a colleague walk out of a job, and it creates an opening or an opportunity. Remember I said doing something pioneering, stepping into new shoes, maybe becoming the boss. This could be some kind of movement or advancement. It will bring money, but it will bring a lot of responsibility with it as well. So just be sure if you feel like this is the way for you. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the King of Swords tends to represent the mind, but it can also be the nervous system. I'm not a doctor, can't give you medical advice, not a diagnosis. With the Emperor here as well, it looks like a lot of you could be seeing a specialist around some kind, or a specialist or a surgeon this week, which, all of these would be possible. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, the King of Swords, I think a lot of you are looking at either purchasing a home, selling a home, maybe getting valuations and estimates, etc. This week. And I got to say, it looks like good news for a lot of you. It's a really interesting set of cards, and what I can see here is there's no earth. So you got to find the way to be grounded from elsewhere. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. You want to book in with me, do it in the link in the description. Let me know in the comments how it shows up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.